Hello, wannabes and creators, and welcome back to another episode of our mini season of launching a Kickstarter for My Father Didn't Kill Himself. Before we get started and I tell you what's been going on this week, people always ask me, how do I know how much money I can expect to raise from my crowdfunding campaign now? And I'm going to be honest with you, I have a killer app. I have a killer app that tells you exactly how much you can hope to raise. And that app is Crowdster. I use it for everything when it comes to Twitter. It is my secret weapon. And if you want to know exactly how much money you can expect to raise right now, you can go to kickstarteruniversity.us/Crowdster. That's Crowdster with a K, and find out exactly how much social capital you have now and how much you can expect to raise right now from just the people on your team, and then you can start working from there. I'll be honest, I use it for every Kickstarter campaign. I actually use their crowd builder as well to help me find backers and help me do all of the things that help me build from scratch. They're basically my little social media manager. So if you want to kill it on Kickstarter and crush it on Twitter, I highly recommend going to kickstarteruniversity.us/Crowdster with a K and find out exactly how much you can expect to raise on your next campaign. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can talk about crowdfunding and our campaign for My Father Didn't Kill Himself. Right now, we've raised $2,491. That means we are 249,100% funded from 101 backers with 25 days to go. I love that number. It makes me smile every time I say 200,000% backer or more. So why is this important? And why is this awesome for getting to 100 backers? Well, in my opinion, and it seems like in Kickstarter's estimation as well, 100 backers is sort of the proving ground where you have a successful project. And that's what I usually attest to, too. If I can get 100 people to back my project, I know that there is a market validation for it, and I know that people are going to be excited when it comes to mass market. I'm pretty sure I think that because Kickstarter sends this email when you get to 100 backers. The subject: here's an idea. The body: rent 2 buses, round up all your backers, and drive to the nearest pizza parlor because you just got your 100th pledge. That's incredible. 100 friends, new and old, super excited about how cool your project is. If they can agree on that, ordering pizza should be a breeze. And a little heart and Kickstarter. The first time I got that, I was pretty psyched, right? I mean, I thought that that was a big proving ground. And I think it is. Especially when you're doing your first campaign. That means 100 people are giving you money. Studies show that at any one time, you can only have 150 people that you know. So if you have 100 people pledging to your account, that means that 67% of people in your current circle, or a bunch of people that are outside of your current circle, are donating to your campaign. And I think that's fantastic. Once you get over 200, 300, 400, obviously you're talking about an incredibly successful campaign. But if you can get to 100 people backing your campaign, it is a great benchmark that you're having success. Now, our campaign number for 100 means we have $24.91 as the average back. Now, that is much less than it was 17 days into our Katrina campaign. In that campaign, the average was around $33 at the same point in the campaign. However, again, we're talking about a novel, not a comic book. There just seems to be less people looking at the novel publishing side of it, especially for novels and not art books or other sorts of books, than there are on the comic side of things. However, I think that this is incredibly successful for a couple of reasons. The first is I have done very little Facebook ad and Twitter ads. Now, that's not because I don't think they're successful or great. It's because previously on my other campaigns, I've run everything simultaneously. So I've done my email campaign. I have done my Facebook and Twitter and all of the ads running in tandem with each other. And it was hard, even with tracking, to know exactly what was being successful and what was just should be gone by the wayside. It seemed like when I did Twitter ads, it would return 3, 4, 5 times, but I wanted to make sure that that was the reason. So what I'm doing this time is taking a sort of slower approach. I'm doing one thing a week. So for the last week, I have been sending personalized emails to everyone on my mailing list and everyone on my Facebook account. This coming week, I'm going to be doing Facebook ads and Twitter ads to see how that drums up new business. And the reason that I wanted to wait is because the best time to do Twitter and Facebook ads is when you are incredibly successfully funded. The more funded that you are, the better the Facebook ads are going to do, because people then see a winner and people want to back a winner. And this seems just like a great time because 100 pledges, doing Facebook ads, it seems like it's a great time to start, ramping up that part of it. And we'll see if it's successful. Up until this point, one of the things I'm most proud about this campaign is we've not thrown a lot of money into advertisements, and we're still able to generate a lot of interest. Now, my hope is that second 100 pledges is going to come straight from Facebook ads. Of course, I would want other people that I know to back it as well, but I want the Facebook ads to be driving new people to the campaign, because new people are incredibly valuable. New people are incredibly valuable because even if you spend a lot to get them, you are going to have them for a long time. So this goes back to customer lifetime value. You are hoping and hopeful that if you do it right and you bring them into your pipeline, that these people are not only going to buy one book from you, they're going to buy 2, 3, 4, 5 books from you over the course of their life, and you only have to acquire them one time. So if you spend $5 to get somebody who backs for 20, yeah, that's not great because your profit margin is a lot less. However, if they then go to buy your next book and your book after that and the book after that, then you're going to be able to amortize that across all of your books. So maybe their customer lifetime value is really $100. Well, if it's $100, that $5 initial spend to acquire them is incredibly, incredibly valuable. On top of that, we're continuing our mission to become the best branded publishing company in the indie space. And we're doing that by having that awesome mascot and logo designed by our friend Nick Torres, and by developing our ideal customer profile. And again, to go back to what we said before about finding a client, if you can find somebody who is in your ideal client profile, they're very likely to buy from you again and again and again and again and again. So this is something that we've been really hammering this week, and we're going to be hammering in the futures. We are less concerned about developing a book or a graphic novel or a board game or one form of media. What we want to do is develop games and develop products and develop comic books and books for our ideal client. Because here's what we believe. Here's what we truly believe, and here's what seems to play out in other businesses. If you have a client, they consume one form of media. Let's say it's comic books. They're very likely also consuming books and video games and movies and board games and all sorts of other media. But you are thinking about things horizontally delineated. And a horizontal delineation means I'm going to get 500 comic books because comic book people like all sorts of comics. And while that's true, it also spreads you thin. So if you have 20, 30, 40 comic books going at any one time, you're maybe going to get a couple of people at each book. However, if you are vertically delineated, which means I know that my clients like horror books, I know that they like subversive, anti-religion type books, I know that they're generally college educated, I know that they are around this age group. Now you have a vertical delineation of a customer. And when you do that, you are able to hit them on all sorts of media, because think about yourself. You as a human being don't only like comic books. You like movies and TV and all of these other media. And you generally probably like the same thing. At least I do. I like the same rough kind of TV shows that I like in movies. I like the same comic books as I like in my board games. So all of these things have a very similar tone to them. So, and if it's true for me, it's probably true for lots of other people. And here's the thing is, I'm a small publisher. I'm me. A couple of other people help me, and a lot of other people support me, but it's mostly me handling the day-to-day operations of Wannabe Press. And I don't have the time, energy, inclination to find 40, 50, 60 books at any one time, nor do I want to, because there's just not that many great books out there to be found. I would much rather say we call our ideal clients Tom and Veronica. I would rather say, Tom, you like this kind of book, and Veronica, you like this kind of book. So now I'm going to take these things that I know you like, and I'm going to make a board game about it, because I would rather you get one awesome comic book, one awesome board game, one awesome novel that I know you'll love, as opposed to trying to force feed you 40 books over the course of a year that are mediocre quality, and that you're probably only going to have interest in 3 or 4. Because I'm sorry, Tom, I know that you like horror comics. You're probably not a fan of romance novels or romance books. You might like sci-fi, but you might not like Isaac Asimov's sci-fi. I know that you like Kurt Vonnegut's sci-fi. So I'm going to throw some things at you like Kurt Vonnegut sci-fi, because that's what I know that you like. And those are the kinds of things that I'm very interested in as a publisher and as someone who wants to have a long, sustaining business. And My Father Didn't Kill Himself is just going to prove the point that my audience and the Wannabe Press audience likes a certain kind of thing, and they have a certain kind of vibe and a certain kind of tone around them. So now, instead of force-feeding Veronica books that she probably doesn't like just because they're in a format that is similar to other things that I've put out, I'm able to feed her things and tones and themes that I know that she does like, because she's already demonstrated it from multiple times of buying from us and buying from our site. So we just signed a children's book, I Can't Stop Tooting, a love story, which is an adorable children's book. It is not Ichabod Jones Monster Hunter. It is not Katrina Hates the Dead. It's not My Father Didn't Kill Himself. But I can tell in the theme and the tone that that's going to resonate with the audience. And also, I've seen it resonate with audiences when I share things on it on Facebook. So that is what I am very interested in. Vertical delineation, not horizontal delineation. And I think that's something that as publishers, we should really, really consider, especially when we're small. Look, if you've got 40 books right now, you shouldn't have 40 books. Marvel and DC don't have 40 books, and they have a huge staff, and they can do it a lot better than you, and they have the pick of the litter, the cream of the crop, and most of their books are terrible. And if they're not terrible, they're mediocre. You just can't sustain that high level of quality over that many books. However, if you instead focus on your profit margin instead of the total revenue, you're going to have a much better experience, and you're going to be able to be much more sustainable. So I highly recommend, if you haven't developed your ideal client profile, do so this week. Come in the comments, tell me what you think, tell me if you've done it, tell me if it's helpful to you. But that's what we've been working on in the past week. I think we've made huge strides, and I think with this new focus of where we're going, it's going to be much better for all of the people that follow Wannabe Press, all the people that buy our books, and even if you guys have a wide range of stuff that you're interested in, I hope you guys look at Wannabe Press as the best publisher in the world that does this specific thing, which is focus on genre, which is horror, sci-fi, fantasy, mystery. Not talking about format, so comic books, board games, videos, books, and all of the formats, but that has a very specific tone, which is anti-authority, anti-religion, dark, but also very humorous, willing to take on important subjects, but tell them in a very entertaining way. So we believe that you don't have to sacrifice story and intellectual pursuit to be entertaining. You can have both. You can both be entertaining and intellectual at the same time. Everything starts in this intellectual level, so you have to be able to read a book and just get the interest for the book. But at this other level, right below the surface, if you want to look for it, it's there. And I know that I haven't defined the word that I want to use for exactly what we do, but that is the tone, that is the theme of all the stuff that we put out. And whether it's dealing with monster hunting or dealing with the apocalypse or dealing with loss, grief, and junk, there's that same tone that we use all the time. And that's what we've been working on this week. I know I went on a little bit longer rant, but it's really important. I wanted to talk about vertical delineation versus horizontal delineation. I wanted to talk about how we focus on things and what we're focused on in the future, because this is what our Kickstarter is about. I mean, our Kickstarter is about launching the next project for the future and getting you continually awesome projects. And now that we've hit 100 backers, I can say that I think that what we're doing is the right course. And I think it's the right path. I think that we found people, and we found a lot of people. I looked, of the 100 backers, 60 came from the last campaign. Now, that's out of 294, but 60 have already pledged to the campaign that pledged to the last campaign. And that's fantastic. I mean, 60% of backers on this campaign are renewing their interest in Wannabe Press. And I love that. I think that's fantastic. And we are here to serve you guys by giving you guys continually awesome projects. So we will see you next week. If I don't see you before then, please go to Crowdster at kickstarteruniversity.us/Crowdster with a K to see your social capital and what you can expect to raise on your next campaign. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.